No one could accuse Rex and Melissa Pemberton of having a dull marriage. He soars through the sky, reaching speeds of 160 kilometres per hour, wearing a wingsuit. She performs breathtaking loops around him in a stunt plane. It's man versus machine. And as Charles Wooley discovered, trust is everything for this husband and wife.
There's something in the air. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Rex Pemberton, the young Australian Superman, streaking across the sky at 160 kilometres an hour in his amazing wingsuit. And weaving a circle of smoke around him, charging in like some fearsome aerial predator, is his American wife, top aerobatic pilot, Melissa. I know that you love this woman, but how much do you trust her? I mean, one small mistake as she barrels round you.
Remember, I'm sitting right here.
Yeah, I trust her entirely.
You're the boy and girl of each other's dreams.
Yeah.
As someone who's crazy as you are.
Yeah.
I think something we both really were attracted to in each other was the fact that we have our sports, but we've also made a profession out of what we do.
Love you too. Have a good flight.
It's a marriage made in the heavens.
Absolutely incredible.
Thrilling crowds at air shows across the United States, like here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where once a year, this small rural town with a quiet airstrip becomes the noisiest place on Earth. 500,000 aviation fanatics crane their necks for a glimpse of some extraordinary sights, none more extraordinary than Rex and Melissa Pemberton.
On some of the turns that we'll fly formation, you know, we can see each other, Melissa and I looking at each other, and we're in constant radio communication the entire time. But you can see each other just having fun, smiling.
They are brave, but not crazily so. There is risk, but it's finely calculated, because inevitably, in such high-stakes aerobatics, mistakes are made, and the outcome can be tragic.
You have to accept the risk before you take off. You have to accept the risk before before you go to the show, to be mentally prepared for it.
It's an awful thing to say, but I suspect that people go to shows like this because there's a chance that something might go wrong.
Yeah.
Does that force you to do more and more extraordinary things?
It's our job to be professional enough to not get sucked into pushing ourselves beyond the limit.
Does loving one another make it harder?
Definitely.
Despite not being out of her 20s, Melissa is an aerobatic veteran. Air Ace performs many routines without Rex, from near misses with other aircraft to cutting ribbons just metres off the ground while upside down.
We have 3 poles with 2 strings attached. If you look at our ribbons, we have a target hanging in the middle, and we're doing an inverted opposing ribbon cut.
There you go. How about that?
That's how high above the ground?
That's 23 feet. So we look at that target, and we know if we hit our target.
You are trying to convince me that this is simpler and safer than it looks.
It's all in the presentation.
This is high-tension showbiz, and there's no escaping the terrific physical forces on both plane and pilot as they fight the laws of gravity and common sense.
When you're doing that high-performance, low-level aerobatics, when you're pulling 10, 12 Gs, it's important that everything is happening very naturally. There's a lot of muscle memory in this sport.
Melissa has been flying since she was a teen, but her other great love was climbing, which, oddly enough, back in Australia, was also a passion of the young Rex Pemberton. By the time he was 23, he'd climbed the world's top 7 peaks, including Everest, the youngest Australian to do so. They met on her first visit to Australia.
We both were base jumpers at the time, and so we went and jumped some cliffs in the Blue Mountains.
How romantic.
Yeah.
Jumping off cliffs.
Lovers leap.
Lovers leap.
It was very exciting, and we got all the puns at the wedding. Oh, they leapt into love, and but
You love
really,
that line. I don't know.
I know.
And so began a partnership of high adventure for a couple whose idea of settling down was, well, a little unsettling.
See ya.
Early in their relationship, at a base jumping event in Colorado, a leap by Melissa went horribly wrong.
She jumped off and did a double backflip, basically what we call a gainer. And as she came out, pitched the parachute perfectly, everything looked perfect, but then suddenly it opened 110 degrees to the left.
Now your mind is working.
Your mind is working a million miles a minute, and I got out of the twist just in time from the distance from me to you to see the cliff. So at that point, there was nothing to do but hang on for the ride.
Melissa slammed into the cliff face, still some 200 feet from the bottom of the gorge. Fortunately, though, the canopy snagged on a rock. The danger was far from over. With a badly broken leg and going into shock, it was critical for Rex to keep Melissa conscious until rescuers arrived.
I was yelling at her to stay conscious and stuff like that, because if it falls off this cliff, I wouldn't live with myself if I didn't tell her I loved her.
So you shout out.
Yeah, I love you.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So
And
he
you
did.
say?
I'm pretty sure I said I love you too.
You did.
And then I just was thinking to myself, really, right now?
Before the Pembertons' latest dice with death, I joined them in the hangar as they prepared for the show.
And these cells, just like a normal skydiving canopy, basically hold that air and hold that make that aerofoil rigid. So it's a semi-rigid aerofoil. So basically you're turning your body into a mini airplane.
This hasn't taken very long.
No, I'm ready. Basically those...
You could almost do it in a phone box, couldn't you?
You can try to. Yeah, then run out. You'd have to flap pretty hard to take off though.
I just have to take Rex's word that this suit of flimsy material will let this big strapping bloke, 6'2" and 80 kilos, soar like a sugar glider, weather permitting.
I'll take you upstairs. We may end up over the airport and,
There's nothing.
yeah.
So, last minute drama, the weather.
Yeah, the weather.
Some things you can't control, eh?
Yeah, you can't control the weather, and we've got a storm moving in from the west, so the ceiling is getting lower and lower and lower.
Our plane is a wonderful old Beech 18, an American workhorse from 1943. It may be about my age, but I hope in much better condition. It's tight, noisy and bare in the stripped-out beach as Rex makes final adjustments to his wingsuit and two-way radio.
You are an amazing couple. Thank you. You are terrific. Thanks, Charlie. It's pretty fun. Be able to do this with your wife. I don't think of anyone else in the world that can do this sort of stuff. It's pretty awesome.
At 10,000 feet, it's getting a little hairy. There's some turbulence, and Rex is having to pick breaks in the cloud that Melissa can follow.
And she's not allowed to go through any cloud, neither am I. And we've got to stay inside a set aerobatic box. So we're looking for a hole, an open space. We're looking for a big hole in the clouds. You have an open space that I can fly through.
It's vital they maintain visual contact at all times, otherwise Rex could easily go through the mincer of his wife's propeller. And with that, it's helmet on and... Some couples don't say much, others never shut up, but none would ever have a conversation quite like this, or to the delight of so many. Do you love it when the crowd love it? This
Yeah.
act that you do?
I was blown away because for one of the first times I looked down the crowd line and everybody in the entire audience was on their feet.
Despite whatever odds, it's all ended well. A happy reunion for the Cape Crusader and Wonder Woman. Both of them quick to admit that this is not your standard day at the office. If something happened to her or to you, if there was a crash and that was it, would you have wished you hadn't done this?
I think that if we were going to quit because of the danger in it or because of the risk or the chance of something could happen, then we would have quit a long time ago.
I believe just generally live life saying that life is a gift given to us and it's our responsibility to go out and live as much as possible, see as much as possible, do as much as possible, because if we don't, then we're just wasting away what we have.
God knows what your kids are going to do to trump the oldies.
No, I don't know. Bookworms, I hope.
Yeah, right.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Hello, I'm Alison Langdon. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.